What's going on, everyone? I'm Akeem Lawanson, and in today's Fix, an unannounced game from the studio behind God of War, an unannounced studio working on existing franchises, and an early Ocarina of Time build shows us the Hyrule that could have been. Let's go. Good God, y'all, of War, that is. Sony Santa Monica, the studio behind the latest installment of the God of War saga, is reportedly working on a new game that isn't Kratos related, even a little bit. But we might as well take this moment to acknowledge just how good God of War is. Boy, it is so good.
Careful, boy.
I like that sound up. That was a dope ass sound up. Now, according to a job listing, the studio is seeking an art director for a new untitled project. The official Sony Santa Monica account tweeted, quote, "Hot job art director" in all caps with fire emojis because artists are more visual that way and typically they're hot. Let's face it. Now, the tweet goes on to say that they're looking for an experienced art director for the development of a new unannounced title. The job listing itself doesn't say much more about this secret game, just that it's going to be genre defining and will contain both characters and creatures. Now, I'm always saying more games should have more of those two things, because if you don't have those two things, then what are you really doing? What are you making, a puzzle game? I don't know. Anyways, in 2018, we learned that Sony Santa Monica had a long-term studio plan to focus on two major projects after God of War. One of those projects is the sequel to the studio's smash hit, God of something commonly referred to as Ragnarok, which we saw teased when it closed out Sony's PlayStation 5 showcase last September. Now, with the second project still shrouded in mystery, now is the time to make wild conjecture and unfounded predictions. I think it'll be space pirates, space pirates with beards and little lost boys like Peter Pan, but in space. I think that'd be dope. Anyway, before 2018's God of War, Sony Santa Monica was at work with a new sci-fi IP, which was sadly canceled. All we ever saw from that was concept art that looked kind of like Halo vs. Jurassic Park in space, with various fantasy-like characters and creatures. So there's at least two qualities it had in common with the new secret project. Now, speaking of 2018's God of War, it recently made our best PS5 games list after the 60 FPS bump it got for the next-gen console. Shout out to my boys. Elsewhere in Southern California, Sony's new San Diego-based studio will focus on expanding existing franchises. Now, to be clear, this development team isn't the same thing as San Diego Studio, which is Sony's first-party development studio that has spent most of its lifetime producing MLB The Show. Now, this other new San Diego-based Sony studio hasn't officially been announced just yet. Now, the info comes via the LinkedIn profile of the former studio head. According to his profile, Michael Mumbauer's recent accomplishments include, quote, having built a brand new all-star AAA action-adventure development team for PlayStation. Based in San Diego and utilizing proprietary engine technology, this team was assembled to expand upon existing franchises and craft all new stories for the next generation of gamers. I would hire that man, by the way, based on all of that. Now, there's lots to speculate on as far as what those franchises could be. Now, there has been rumors that PlayStation is teaming up with Naughty Dog to continue developing the Uncharted series, for example, because, clearly Nathan just hasn't charted enough just yet. There's still more for him to chart, you guys. More uns to chart, I guess. I don't know, that's a dad joke. Who wrote that, man? Now, while this project is exciting just hearing about it, take this all with a grain of salt, as there's no real confirmation just yet. But there is some interesting info buried in Mumbauer's LinkedIn. In Mumbauer's featured section, there's a video from YouTuber Robin Gaming about how Sony secretly created a studio to make Uncharted 5. Now, since the featured section of LinkedIn is filled in by the profile owner, this Uncharted 5 theory video was purposely put in there by Mumbauer, in between videos of a keynote presentation and GDC talk from him, from that man. Now, I should also mention that Robin Gaming made this video 2 years ago, so I don't know, it seems like a solid hint that something Uncharted is a brewing. Obviously, though, this confirms absolutely Nathan. Drake, Nathan, nothing. Except that Mumbauer is a good public speaker and that he likes to keep up with his favorite YouTubers, I guess. But It's a hard detail to ignore. Now, while gamers should probably temper expectations right here, I'm personally excited for the existing franchises that could be kept going on by this new studio. Now, of course, in every case, there would be big shoes to fill, and as we saw with some handheld iterations from the Uncharted series, not every swipe at a great franchise is a guaranteed home run. I'm not gonna call out anything specific, but yeah, y'all know. If you know, you know. Now, what Sony franchise would y'all want to see kept alive by this secret San Diego studio? Let me know in the comment section down below. I know y'all are probably just gonna spam Parappa the Rapper, and I don't blame y'all. You gotta believe, and I believe in that little puppy. Let me see some puppy emojis, by the way. Yeah. Now, in other news, a true Link to the Past and early development build of the legendary Legend of Zelda title, Ocarina of Time, has just been discovered. Now, it contains a build of Kakariko Village in progress, an early archery test, and the bizarre and disturbing revelation that Link could have transformed into Navi using the Soul Medallion. Okay, hold on here. Now, would Navi have turned into Link like some weird-ass Freaky Friday type situation? Because I think it would have felt sort of righteous to finally get your chance to finally yell at her to, hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
It's a cool little sound up there. We get it, Navi, we freaking get it. Now, Eurogamer reports that the demo was shown off at Space World 97 and was later found on an old Nintendo 64 development cartridge holding F-Zero X. The Zelda demo was partly saved over on cartridge, but with plenty left to see. Now, according to images shared on Twitter, the Soul Medallion body swap with Navi would have allowed Link to fly around the map and still carry his Master Sword and Hylian shield. Now, it's unclear from the screenshot if that's a giant-ass Navi with a regular-sized sword and shield or a regular-sized Navi with a tiny-ass sword and shield. I don't know. Either way, it might have softened some of the sting of Malon calling Link Fairy Boy all the time. Man. There's also an appearance of Link's Pegasus boots, which ended up tweaked as the hover boots in the final game. Other abandoned details include the possibility that the Deku Tree would have been less of a wise forest spirit and more of a prison for fairies. Yeah, what a note to end this Daily Fix. That about does it for your Daily Fix. I'm Akeem Lawanson, and I hope your day is as awesome as you are and as awesome as my sweater is. I know y'all like it. That's why I wore it. Now that you're all caught up on the news, check out the first 25 minutes of Hitman 3 in 4K at 60 frames per second. I hear that game is a certified hit, man. Damn, that's a bad joke. Anyway, download the IGN app on all your mobile devices, subscribe to the Daily Fix on Snapchat, and for all things everything else, IGN.com.